So what are your jobs as a farmer? Deal with those minerals. I spoke at our Wisconsin grazing conference. That's why I said I always make enemies as I go. And they asked me if I'd speak at the grazing conference on this Albrecht mineral balance thing. I'm not a believer in a perfect soil test and balance. It's a terrible mistake. If you spend your whole career getting a perfect soil test, you're probably not going to grow a perfect crop. It's not what it's about. It's about getting those exchange of nutrients. Some soils, you aren't going to change. I can have 14% sodium in their soil. You won't live long enough. There's not enough stuff you can dump on there to get rid of it. Why would we want to flush it out? Let's learn to farm with what we have. So I was speaking at the grazing conference about the Albrecht balance. I said, fine. When I got there, looked at the bill, it was me versus the university. And the professor, he said, who, you want to go first or should I? I said, you go first. Oh, you don't ask me that question, man. If they just said I had to go first, see, I wouldn't have had any fun. I still can't look the man in the eye. I actually felt I really, really humbleized him, and it was ridiculous. He quoted data from before I was born. From 1943, he had data on research he'd done on this mineral balance, and he saw no difference. And their yield was 2 tons of dry matter per acre. I work with farmers that grow 10. I said, he got up there and his yields were 100 bushel corn. I said, 100 bushel corn and 2 tons of dry matter per acre. You're absolutely right. Mineral balance makes no difference whatsoever. That's how we started this topic. And I said, but you realize this? You don't have to believe in the mineral balance. Why do you take a soil test? To find something that's short. Or if it's too much of it, why would you add more? So if you took a soil test and everything that was short, look at 12 or 13, raise them, raise them, raise them. What do you think you do to the ratios? You put them in line, exactly like Albrecht saw them. So it doesn't make any difference. Every university I've ever visited with, they say you got to get a certain sufficiency level of minerals. And eventually they'll change the balance in their soil. So I said, quit arguing. Follow their method. I don't care. Add what's short. And then look at your ratios later on. You say, oh yeah, I changed my ratios. So balance those minerals are addressing. Now we got 2 things that work. I spend my career trying to get things simplified. Now it may not sound that way by the end of the day if you're new at this. Farmers say, I've been in your meetings for 3 years. Man, you really explained it well this time. I said, no, you heard it 3 times. There's a huge difference. I try to get it down so you can stand on it, so it's understandable. If you take a soil test and send it back and have the recommendations come in the mail, and you look at it and it's $800 an acre it would cost to do it, and your budget's $100. What are you going to do? Throw it in a wastebasket? I'm not saying what the lab said was wrong. So here I separate out soil correction, those correction numbers, from crop fertilizer. And I was visiting with people before this meeting. If you can't afford to correct the soil, well, you bloody well better get a more profitable crop so you got a little money so you can. So then you might have to do the crop fertilizer is totally separate from the soil correction. If you do it that way, in my opinion, it's much easier to understand. The soil test is measuring what's short, but now I got to have a crop fertilizer.